Welcome. Come on back, man. Welcome to the Barrel City Podcast, man. We back again. I know it's been a long time. I know it's been the hardest time away from me, man. I know it's been a long one. I've been fighting hard, gaining skills, but I had to make sure I dropped something for y'all, man. I know it's been a minute. I've been cooking this one for a minute. Been frozen on the laptop, and ain't no excuses, man. But I just wanted to come to y'all with also the love and letting this be known. This is episode 8, interview with the Chef Anderson, the owner of Feed The Ville. Long time coming, months been in the folder, months been trapped, so I gotta bring it out. We're gonna be covering the scriptures of James, chapter 4, verses 7 through 10. We will also be including a quote. We'll be talking about the NCAA Women's season and starting, and what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling about it, and hopefuls of what's gonna come about. And finally, we're gonna be addressing the man himself, addressing the whole situation, coming out with the interview with the man himself, Chef Anderson, of the owner of Feed The Ville. And it's been a long time, man. I just hope y'all enjoy this one. Feel the intensity, feel the opportunity of where I was coming into this raw, and let me know. You know how it is. We're going to be back. We got different things. We got different plans. Welcome to the Barrel City Podcast with your host, Hassani the Great. We back in it. Yeah. All right, we about to get into the word today. And I wanted to cover James 4:7 through 10. I want to commit to talking about James chapter 4, verses 7 through 10. And it says, humility cures worldliness. That's from my version, which is NKJV. Maybe in another translation, it will say another thing for you all. But in this verse, it said, therefore, submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Lament and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning, and your joy turned to gloom. Humble yourselves in the sight of God, of the Lord, and he will lift you up. So, in that scripture, I sat here and just covering that verse because I wanted to specify in this season of life, in the humbling experience of what we have going on, and especially with us and our pride and things that we may be encountering some form of pushback, we can get a clear understanding of what we need to do to better affect our surroundings with peace and transparency of our own selves and just being reflective of our own behaviors. So I'm going to draw into a very quick interpretation. And I'm going to go by the first verse, 7. Therefore, submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. So, first thing is being said is you're submitting to the Most High, you're submitting to God, and your first bit of just allowing yourself to be taken out of the equation, taking your mental anguish, your own battle, and then reflecting on it and understanding that you're submitting, you're taking yourself out of the equation, and then you're resisting the devil, so that's through any form of temptation, fornication, any lot of hunger, greed, stubbornness, selfishness, anger, any of the 10 commandments. You're trying to resist as much of sin that you can encounter, which is going to take you towards the devil. And whenever you do that, you will be fleed from that feeling. You will be fleed from that emotion that most of us have to battle on a consistent basis, especially myself. And I make sure people understand that this comes with a level of understanding that a battle of our own comes with a chip of its own. You have to be very aware. You have to be very consistent of what can happen when we are being challenged consistently by our own sins and pride. But I'm going to continue on. Excuse me. Verse 8 says, draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. So he dropping in, he coming in quick. Draw near to God. So he's telling you already when you're submitting, make sure you're submitting and you're trying to draw into as much of the Most High as possible. Get to his word, get to his language, get to the things that can help you better equip yourself for the battle of yourself and the spirits that are coming in contact with you. And cleanse your hands. So he's speaking of these hands. He's speaking of just the same way when you're washing your hands, you're trying to cleanse your heart. You're cleansing, you're trying to wash away the things in which is going to draw you into a cycle in which you're connected to the devil and those many demons. You're drawing near to God. So you're already trying to cleanse yourself, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. So I'm jumping in that real fast because it's like cleanse your hands, you're cleansing, you're washing, and you sinners, letting us know who we are in the equation, you sinners, and purify your hearts. So he's already telling you, take yourself out of this equation, take yourself from this situation, relieve yourself of the duties of keeping around situations where you're not taking care of yourself. Be somebody that is consistent. Be somebody that is aware of what your contact, your faith, your consideration of who you are, and then continue to attack it. Take on those situations. Make sure you're aware of it, but purifying, cleansing of your hands, because you are double-minded. We are double-minded. We become so stuck in this infatuation of our own. What do you think we should do? Oh, I think I should, we get so quick in second guessing, including myself, second guessing or overthinking things. We end up taking ourselves away from God more than we need to, because we need to just commit, submit, understand, draw near, zone in, click in, lock in, do whatever you need to do to cleanse yourself, washing your hands, cleaning your heart to where you can then be set apart. And then you see, he says, lament in verse 9, lament and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to gloom. So he's already letting you know, take these moments of hardship, take those moments of sadness, and understand that this is a time in which you have to pretty much die in front of the mirror every day, leaving behind those evil spirits that may be trying to take you into a consistent battle. And I feel like those are the things that he's saying in his word. There's something that can take you away from there and draw you closer to where you ever been, taking you away from those situations where you may have not understood what you were placed and were sent to be here for, allowing you to realize, mourn, take that laughter, that all that, and realize there's a morning that will be coming, because everything will be a gloom of where you're going to have to restart and draw yourself closer. And to the final verse 10, humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord and he will lift you. So he's letting you know, take yourself out this equation. You ain't got to worry about nothing on the other end, because at the end of the day, you're going to be taken care of regardless of what you think is going to happen. Because at the end of the day, if you're taking yourself out of the equation, you're humbling yourself, you're cleansing yourself, you're removing the situations which can be the turn of your faith, and then you face God at his ultimate placement, and you're so aware of where you need to be at, you ain't got to worry about nothing, because as you're taking yourself out of these equations, God is already letting you know, hey man, this is going to be the situation where we're going to be at. I've blessed you with another day. Continue to then cleanse and wash away those things daily. These are not things that are going to consistently just fall off. You have to take on a consistent ability to then self-reflect and leave the old self at the cross. Leave that old self at the casket or the mirror. That's why I call the mirror the casket, the which every day when you look in that, you're leaving a part of what you were not doing yesterday, and you're bringing something that you wanting to do for yourself into tomorrow. So that's the biggest thing for me. I wanted to draw that verse in that particular chapter and just kind of hit a very sweet point in a startup of a very important time and season that we've all encountered and may be encountering after particular events in our lives. And I think it's best that we humble ourselves and understand we do not know all the answers. Regardless of what you think or what we have or what we do, you got to realize this is the Most High's world. This is a world that is going to only circle around His agenda and what He has been placed upon us in our hearts. And I have to address that with even the sense when people find in the times, especially as me being a brother, a man of God, but also a person who is of African descent and is a brown skinned, black skinned man, as most people will consider me. You got to realize that for the history in which a lot of us come from, 200, 300, 400 years, and not including the agendas of imprisonment and the chain gang and the continuous abuse throughout different outcomes of all forms. You can think of all of life. And we look at those prejudices, and you will find people who will be like, if there was God and if there was this and that, why did our people have to encounter some form of hardship? And I think that is the first example of you find of any person in the world, even drawing near and you finding yourself with the Most High. And even when you bring that question in your heart, because even us as believers have all had questions. There's nothing wrong with that. I think the biggest thing is you have to take accountability and realizing situations can never be figured out truly by our own understanding, because through our own understanding, we will never truly see or seek what the Most High is really wanting from us, because really what He all wants is all His children to be happy, all of His children to be at peace, all of His children to find a way in which they have been ensured a love and a consistency of understanding what God has truly done for all of us. But more or less, we have to realize that even with those tragedies, and many tragedies have happened in the times of Christ, we draw near to our Bible. And I want people to understand that even in tragedies, I want us to all understand that these situations come with a reality in a form of us acknowledging, even in the history of when Christ, the Son, who was sacrificed for us and our sins, had to sacrifice for a thing in which He didn't do anything for and to even encounter. He was the most innocent person ever. And I think a lot of people take out of that and not realize the reason why most people were like, how is God real and Jesus real and these bad things happen? Jesus had encountered bad things in His own life beyond even just the cross, even the fact that He received so much punishment on our sins and things in which He didn't do. And then you look at the thing of, the time and age He lives with the Romans. We clearly forget in history that people think these things are projected, but in the agenda of where people understand where we are placed and see things, there was already an agenda in which He had to encounter His own form of biases and His own form of injustice and difficulties. And these things will not change and have not changed. But in understanding that when we leave this earth and our Father in heaven comes back for us, when the time comes and when He feels it is fit, when that season is ready, we will be lifted and will be led to the gates of heaven, and we will see the glory of what we will not suffer anymore. But in the consideration of people thinking that suffering will end or any form of hardship we face as men or women is complete foolery and a disconnection of us really knowing where we can go. And I think us as a people, we must, in just brown, white, or any format, we must address not the things of which we are not capable of receiving, but addressing the things in which God had already given us, not by what we see physically, but what we have been given by day to day, that we have been guaranteed a place in heaven, not through our works, but through the love of our Father, and most importantly, the sacrifice of His Son Jesus, Yeshua himself. And I wanted to end it off with a quote, drawing near to another placement. And it comes from a guy, Saint Bernard. I found this. It is no great thing to be humble when you are brought low, but to humble when you are praised is a great and rare attainment. So he sits there and gives out that humble when you are brought low means absolutely nothing. That's easy when you're on your last dollar, your last leg. It's something that's more difficult. But when you're drawing to a place of when you're humble, when you have been praised and you got all the great and rare things and the great money and all the things in that, attainment in that and being humble is a whole different thing. A lot of people are humble when they are at their lowest, but a lot of people are not humble when they need to get to that next level. So we're drawing near, and I appreciate you all for reaching back in, but this is an ad coming in soon, and I wanted to appreciate you all. I give God the glory. I give God the opportunity for me to reach this word to you all. Whoever hears this, I hope continues to bless them and their family. I find this in true value, and we're continuing on with the Vero City podcast, and I love you all. And until the next step, we're going to make sure we can take care of one another, draw to these words, and understand that the Lord is still with you. In the next, we say, Vero City, we in. You're Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. You know what it is. You know what it is, man. You're looking for exposure. You want a shout out. That's going from your music, anything, your page, mostly businesses, things that you got going on. Look no further here, man. Vero City Podcast. We got deals, big things about anything coming to advertisement. We advertise your show on the pod. Advertise anything you got going on. Hit me up. Our page today on Vero City Podcast on IG and TikTok. Transform your business. Embrace the season of change. Y'all want something different? Come here. We're going to make it happen. If you're looking for particular people, you want to put people on, you want to have somebody in front of the camera, you want to have opportunity, hit us up. You know what it is. Vero City Podcast. You know what it is. Let's go. Alrighty now. Long time coming. I know it's a little long time. We amended to, episode 8 of the Vero City Podcast. And, I got to come back in with what I love. We got to talk about the NCAA Women season starting and what I'm hopeful for this season and what I'm seeing so far. So we're going to make this a little discussion that which I've been staring at and been intrigued by the current sports activity. Excuse me. So first thing first, I want to sit here and encounter that most of the situations that which we have going on and looking at this current season, we're staring at a very interesting group of up and coming stars who are looking to probably be the next it girls in the NBA, the WNBA. And I think that it comes in with me not saying, if you're watching Juju, you already know what's going on. And then you add Kiki in there. We got a whole situation of powerhouse players who are now complimenting each other. I was not familiar with Kiki's game, as she had transferred in. I forgot what she transferred in from. And the way they just have this level of high speed, just getting downhill, getting to the situations, taking on a lot of different teams. And because they're now in the Big Ten, that's the biggest situation that most people are not looking at. With them now being in the Big Ten, they are, in the front running of a really tough and difficult division, full with Maryland and having people like Michigan and who recently played South Carolina, took them down to the wire, and you're looking at these teams we kind of, not gonna say we look down upon these smaller schools, but majority of smaller schools, we're getting a little bit of not seeing what's really gonna be a big competition for these bigger programs, but also looking at how USC, breaks down and how their whole situation even comes about. So, Arifian, as she shot for like 7 for 15, big contributor on the board, somebody that you see, because I know I'm messing the name up, 44 herself, big contributor on the boards, getting to the free throw line. I feel like she's a big contributor to what Juju is really adding to the system and having on that team, them being the top scorers on this team. Other than them, I think they're two of the biggest double-digit players on the team other than Smith, which had 12 points, and she had a very consistent play. But the rest of the team, based on just the minutes alone that they received and how many field goals that the people were shooting, or the other women were shooting on the team, is very minimal. And just looking at how Ole Miss was playing, they're going to get a hang of themselves. I feel like they're going to be a good startup group. If they can get their shots to start getting down and actually minimize on just shooting a whole bunch of jumpers and can stay consistent, I feel like they can do a lot of great work based on the statistics of them. Really, they didn't have a great field goal percentage, shooting only 29.7% from the line, and not from the line, but from the field, and from the line 30%. No, 71%, excuse me. So just for those statistics, if you're following me, it just shows me that it's going to be some work and some growth that's going to be needed to be done on Ole Miss. But I feel like if they can get those shots to be consistent, get in a routine, they will be a great program to watch. That's why I said, really looking at the Final Four and assessing from who is the big names and how much they're going to be contributors for coming into the season. I feel like Texas and NC State will still be those powerhouse schools because they got a couple that are going to be coming out in the draft after this year. So they got the strength to carry on if they can stay healthy. Another one that has, the luck of, not even say the luck, but the opportunity that will be there will be most likely South Carolina. South Carolina is going to be a consistent group that I will be keeping my eye on because ain't no way that's going to shift. UConn, USC, like I said before, and the who may be, or if there's a possibility that I'm kind of like squinty on, is South Carolina. South Carolina, Flo Jones, coming out, her situation of just rapping and everything else, from the system which I was watching from them playing, I feel like most likely it's going to be a lot more, key contributors to this team. So it's giving people who normally was not getting as many shots, is going to get a lot more shots, and it's going to be an interesting thing to watch for LSU, seeing how much, they're going to be able to put together. Morrow looks great. She literally shot 90% of her 80 to 90% from the field. Looking at Smith, but also assessing them is quite hard because, they were playing Western Kentucky or Eastern Kentucky, my fault. That situation, like I said, it's hard to assess from who's gonna look, the best. But of course, with no, shock, Iowa will be most likely the team that will be falling the most, with the Caitlin train falling apart, as them losing their actual head coach too, her being out of the retiring somewhat. So it leaves a lot of, the Iowa hopes of actually being good very, very, very slim to none. You know, especially coming from here, being in Jacksonville, we had a game where North Florida were playing Florida State. One of those gimme games. I call them the games to get your fundraiser money up. Florida State will be looking to try to be a contender in the ACC. I don't particularly think so. Even just from when I was watching the game and looking at the overall numbers, it was a lot of shots that were, uh, minimal on effectiveness. Everybody got a shot up, but I feel like Florida State may be the one that, of course, taking on those gimme games and those down the street games, it can be, take a certain toll. It can be, seen as quite, what's the word, laid back. So even when I looked at North Florida, we're located in the Barrel City, it's Jacksonville, Florida. Um, it, you expect to see, not too much play coming out. I do want to give a shout out to Tiba, number 4. She coming off the bench doing 22 minutes, but Shorty really had the most points out of the whole team, man. Like 12 points, you know, had them 3 turnovers, but them rebounds, staying consistent, have about 1 assist. You could tell that's one thing about, Jacksonville, or North Florida themselves with their coaching. Seem like they don't move the ball enough effectively. So I would have loved to see that game. But it's a lot of, those are my top picks, and going most likely those people from the Elite Eight I will be watching. Can't forget Iowa State. Iowa State will definitely be a big eyebrow, because with Crocs being on the field, and her playing that court and being a very dominant fixture in that team, getting in the middle, getting that level of play, getting her jump shots up. I feel like they can actually get a possibility of becoming um a really exciting team to watch, that could actually make a big splash with Iowa being out of contention. But most people still would love to consider, those teams like Ohio State, and looking at Notre Dame, Notre Dame. They're coming back with a lot of, different players, and people that are looking to make a big splash, especially um, their guard, who was out for at least a whole year, came back, dropped a triple double. It There is a lot of great play going on, especially coming into this future of the WNBA, because of course, just to go on sideways from the women's NCAA to WNBA, if most people want to go, there's going to be a lot of big changes coming up with there's one expansion team coming in, the Valkyrie, coming from the Bay out there in Golden State, and then you get the 2 other teams that's going to be introduced between the 2025 season and 2026 season. It's going to, well, yeah, 2020, yeah, will be considered the 26-27 season. Excuse me. Those contributions will bring a lot of light, and will also allow us to see more talent, and expanding on the series, allowing them to be, those 7 games instead of the 5 games, gives us a lot more excitement, and get to see some really great basketball that's going to come about. And I'm really excited to see where it's gonna go. I do want to highlight some rookies who had some great um, performances, debuts. Jalen Cambridge out of Ohio State. She came out and put up 31, went playing, putting them numbers up. Also, Shayla Swords, the Canadian that's playing in Michigan. She looked great against South Carolina. She definitely, just being a freshman, she's gonna be nice. She's somebody that, with the shift in, women's NCAA basketball, and with Paige coming out, and Van Halen, she played great at TCU. She had a decent performance. Of course, you know those players are coming out this year. So looking at that, we get those particular players, especially Suarez, who came out, dropped 27, which most people was not expecting for us to sit here and be talking about a guard, especially a freshman, doing those kind of numbers and contributing to a very good team and changing that look of what really is coming about. And she pretty much had to get veteran moved out the way because them girls was hooping. I ain't even gonna lie. Them girls was hooping. They wouldn't allow none of that oh, we getting through here, letting the rookie play how she played or freshman play how she played. She fought for all her buckets. So I definitely gotta commend her and her shooting because her and Cambridge looked amazing. I was like, dang, somebody had to tell me this really was freshmen because I'm like, dog, these shorties is hooping. They really was on a whole nother level and putting up the numbers that they was putting up. And then I also have to add in a contribution other than Swords. We got to also talk about Michaela Blakes from Vanderbilt coming out her debut, playing against a very small school. Don't mean to be rude, but 21, her putting up 23 against, them and handling herself like she is. I will be enjoying to watch more of her. Her being a wing guard, nice step back, great style, can drive, very powerful player. And then also I want to go into Tasia Roberts for Louisville. She handled herself very well playing against UCLA. They didn't come out with the win, but she definitely looked good, handling herself, putting up 21. And then finally, from looking at her tape and her being just a very quick, nice guard, the ball control is amazing. You got to go on to Brianna Howard from Virginia, which, they played America, the American, and, that's just one of those schools you're going to get those layups off of. And she still put up a nice 18 with some nice boards and contributed to a lot of great shots. So either way, I think it's been excuse me, great contribution in just the sport and just seeing how much everything came about, man. Like, this is some great play, man. I'm excited. I'm really excited. Definitely excited to see what Paige is gonna do. The guard from South Carolina, Tahana Piaku. Please excuse me for my bad pronunciations. And I'm just excited to see what's gonna come about these teams and see who's gonna be, those highlight players who will be going on to the next level and will be contributing to the league. And I was talking to my old girl from Notre Dame, Olivia Miles, the point guard. I hope she has a great season this year, which can then spawn off to her being somewhere selected and being on a team and actually can contribute. Because she's been fighting hard. I got to give it to her. Coming back from a double injury to then getting to have the opportunity to come back out and dominate. It's only so much you can really take away from somebody that's just really trying to contribute to the league themselves. So Golden State, Toronto, and Portland, that's what we're looking forward to. We're going to definitely be excited about Toronto, and Portland's going to be a great contribution in our league of the WNBA and the women's NCAA, having more opportunities and more jobs for young ladies as the new expansion of the league is coming about. So those are my takes. I'm really excited to see some real good basketball, fair, open, a lot of great passing, real good basketball is coming about. And we're going to be seeing some really highlighted stars bring themselves from out of this, growth of really great rookie class that we've seen to now we're going to have a class of players who will be affecting not just how we see the game being played, but we'll be seeing how the league will be pushed forward from these young ladies coming from their college careers and watching this college career grow to then now seeing the future of the men's game, of women's game becoming as popular as the men's game. So it's exciting. I'm so excited. Hopefully more to be said and done with us in seeing this league. And who's my pick to win it all? I really see UConn actually pulling something. If not South Carolina, I do see UConn being that close competitor, especially based on the program and how far they've come. So we're gonna have to see. This is gonna be leading into my later interview I had been since September. I had done an interview with an amazing activist, chef, very outspoken representative of the city of Jacksonville, Feed The Ville himself. And I just wanted to share this interview with you all where, maybe a little bitey, a little strong where you're going to hear, but, remind you I'm outside of a nightclub talking to a man who's providing and feeding his community with a consistency and opportunity of being a blessing to other people, but also being a direct representation of, if you come from here, it doesn't mean you can't get out of here. And he's shown by the sense of, when I was talking to this brother, he just came back from DC, literally not even 3 hours ago, setting up a grill and performing and putting up, with so many people who are hungry and ignorant. But, that's our people. We got to love them, even in the situation where they can sometimes be difficult. But he's a real solid brother, and I hope y'all enjoy this interview that me and him shared, because I enjoyed it. It was a pleasure to get some of his time, and we just got to get into it. It's the Bear City Podcast. Let's get into it. Exclusive with Feed The Ville.
So it's Hassani the Great, and I will. Now it's with me, man. Feed The Ville. Feed The Ville. Y'all know what the fuck it is. Man, it's a pleasure to be out here, man. I'm interviewing somebody that sat here and cooked for at least about 5-6 hours, fed hella people, got people around here feeling like they brand new person, niggas and drugged up, fucked up, and did what they had to do, man. So I wanted to ask you, how could you make that commute from DC to here and still have that drive to feed our people?
I mean, it's what I do, bro. It's like, I mean, when you love something, you just continue to do it. Passion is, you gotta show passion. Like, passion ain't just some shit you talk about. I'ma show me. You gotta show me something. Like, so like I said, if I'm like that, I'm gonna show you what I do. So if I can show you that I can be 2 hours of sleep, do a pop-up, come back to my city, do my pop-up. If I can do it somewhere else, I can definitely come back to my city and do it. So, like I said, I'm big on showing that I can do it. If I can do it, y'all can do it. If you got help, no help, I'm going to show you that I can do it dolo. So, if you can do it with your friend, your family, 2 people, 3 people. All right, family, be safe.
It's loud out here. I'm telling you, we in the streets right here. This Duval.
But yeah, man, like I said, bro, be passionate about what you do, bro. And then, like I said, it's sometimes you gotta show people that it's possible. Every day ain't the best day. Every day ain't gonna be bad, but it get greater later. That's what I've always told my homies. I tell people every day to this day, it get greater later. Because yesterday, yeah, it was bad, but the next day, tomorrow's gonna be better than yesterday. Even if it's not, it gets greater later. Like, you just gotta understand that. And when you put the grind in, your city if you can't get the support from your city, I won't say you can't get support from anywhere else, but it always starts home. So, like I said, I gotta feed my city first. I gotta feed the Ville first, and then that's where it goes everywhere. Like, I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. So, like I said, it starts home. Shit, longer than 10 years. Like I said, I've been feeding my homies, been showing my shit for as long as I possibly could, just to show that I love what I do. When you can show that you love something, for culinary, food ain't, I ain't making billions of dollars. I ain't trying to show that I'm making billions of dollars, but I can show you that I'm happy as fuck. I'm happy as fuck doing what I do. Like, and when you can show people that, that's all that matters. Like, I got friends who got careers from my happiness. If I can build somebody else's career and how they make money and how they think about life every single day, which they wake up to grind to be a chef, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. So, like I said, DC trip, bro, I don't care about none of that. As long as I can stand on my feet, as long as I'm able, able is always been important to me. Being able is huge. So it's like as long as I'm able to do what I can do, I'm gonna do it.
I respect that. This is the Bell City Podcast, exclusive Beauty Booth Productions. You know how we do it. And this is an honor. But my final question to you is, who gave you that drive? Who gave you the first time when you seen and you touched that style when you and they inspired you to feed the Ville?
I think it was more of, like I said, my mama, my family was always like very supportive of me. So it's not that somebody, I guess, gave me the drive. They gave me the support that I could do whatever the hell I wanted to do. And then I took that as, all right, well, let me make y'all proud because I'm gonna do exactly what I want to do. And then, like I said, my mama used to be outside. My mama didn't know nothing about football. She out there hiking, trying to throw a spiral when I started playing football. So it's like, that support is very important because, all right, mom, you show me that I can do whatever the hell I want to. Like, when somebody can show you that, or at least accept you, like I said, I'm a chef. I ain't got a lot of homies that chefs. I always want to separate myself and be that guy to that's doing the one thing that maybe everybody's not doing. But like, bro, my mom, I would say my mom, because she, like I said, she was always there, always supported. She would not eat, of course, but many moments, I'm sure you can relate. Many moments like, Mom, what you ate today? Mom, what you ate today? You eat nothing? Now, so now it's like, let me feed you. So it's like, if I can feed my mama, feed my family, feed my city, that's what got me going. That was the reason. Like I said, I saw my friend. A smell can bring the thought of your grandma back. Like, when you going through something, maybe it's like I said, going through good or bad, who can always bring that memory, bring that joy, that happiness. So that's what I do. I do it for the joy of other people. That memory, though, damn, bro, my first snap played. Damn, my second played. Damn, bro, I fuck with that. Damn, I should have had nothing. But every time that first one is always just that is why I do it for everybody. First, I do it for my mama showing me, then, damn, do whatever you want to do. Like, you want to cook? We gonna buy you everything to cook to do all that. So, like I said, I do it for my city, I do it for my mom, I do it for my dad, I do it for everybody, bro. I do it for the little kids who was told that like they weird or, bro. I stuttered for the longest. Like, I still kind of stutter, but at the end of the day, and so when you got that light on you, bro, shine. People are looking at you for you, be you, and shine every way possible. Shine, because they looking at you. When if you get called on to read out loud, they looking at you. They ain't. You got the room. Everybody is quiet. So take that shit as when you 30, 40, 50, 60, you got the room. When somebody take it the same as reading that damn book to the class, you might mess up. Bro, I didn't mess up thousands of times, but messing up is the best thing to do. Because as soon as you mess up, you're like, oh, bet. That's easy. I know what to do now. Bet. I done fucked up 10 times the same exact way. I know exactly what to do now. I done lost everything. I know exactly what to do now. That shit easy, bro. That shit easy.
It's a pleasure, man. I appreciate this interview, man.
For sure, man.
Hey, we're going to make it happen again. This is Sonny the Great, Bibbidi Boop, and we are with
Not Swift, man. Feed the Ville, man. Y'all get at me, man.